So this presentation will discuss Pennsylvania's court system. The presentation is going to overview Pennsylvania's minor courts, the courts of common pleas, which are its trial courts, the Superior Court and the Commonwealth Court, which are its intermediate appellate courts, and the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, which is the court of last resort. The presentation will also talk about judicial selection processes for picking judges, e-filing requirements, and when jury trials are mandatory. We'll also discuss the unique circumstances of the Court of Judicial Discipline. First, the minor courts. Minor courts are a catch-all term for the magistrate courts, the Philadelphia Municipal Court, and the Pittsburgh Municipal Court. There's over 500 minor court judges. They operate at the hyper-local level, mostly at the judicial districts level, which are mostly drawn right along county lines, and they operate at that level and below it. They have jurisdiction over very small-scale legal issues. Think third-degree misdemeanors, civil cases with damages under $12,000, small things like that. They oftentimes have limited jurisdiction to a narrow set of legal issues. Next, looking at the courts of common pleas, there's 60 of them, one in each judicial district, again, which are drawn approximately county lines. There's 492 of these judges. They have original jurisdiction over almost all cases in the Commonwealth, except when statute provides original jurisdiction to another court for different subject matter. They hear appeals from the minor courts. Next, the Superior Court is located in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Harrisburg. There's 15 total judges across these locations. They have original jurisdiction over basically nothing, but they have appellate jurisdiction over almost everything that comes out of the Court of Common Pleas. And what they don't have appellate jurisdiction over usually goes to the Commonwealth Court, which is located in Harrisburg and has 9 judges. They have original jurisdiction over civil suits brought against and by the Commonwealth. They have appellate jurisdiction over appeals from Pennsylvania government Commonwealth agencies in cases related to things like regulatory enforcement, issues with local governments, municipal governments. Basically, the Commonwealth Court is designed to hear appellate cases related to institutions of Pennsylvania's government. Finally, there's the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, which is located in Harrisburg, 7 judges. It has original jurisdiction over I think it's 3 things. For example, habeas corpus, small set of issues. And it hears appeals when 2 of its judges decide that they're willing to hear the appeal. Typically, they're coming from one of the 2 intermediary appellate courts, but there are limited circumstances where there can be a direct appeal into the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. So now looking at the judge selection process, e-filing. Pennsylvania elects its judges. Minor court judges have term lengths of 6 years, and the other 4 courts judges we discussed have term lengths of 10 years. There are no term limits, however, there is a mandatory requirement age of 75. The only time a candidate for judges, political party shown on the ballot is the first time that they're running. E-filing is generally allowed in Pennsylvania. The courts of common pleas and above, they use the PAC file system. However, the minor courts don't have access to the PAC file system, and they have their own local rules as to what they do with e-filing. Jury trials are not mandatory in Pennsylvania, neither in civil or criminal cases. In a civil case, even if you have a right to a jury trial, if you do not write to the judge as the defendant requesting it, you will not receive it. And in a criminal case, both parties can come together and request that the judge have a bench trial rather than a jury trial, and the judge has the discretion to approve that or not. Finally, I'll discuss the Court of Judicial Discipline, which has its own unique. CJD has jurisdiction over disciplining Pennsylvania's judges for misconduct. Notably, that's not making a legal mistake. This is professional or ethical misconduct. And the Judicial Conduct Board is the group that will ultimately investigate a judge and try to bring charges against them in the CJD. There's no direct elections for CJD judges. Instead, it consists of judges and legal professionals from across the court system and outside of the court system who are appointed. There's no juries and there's no electronic voting. In my opinion, there are 2 ways that the Pennsylvania court system sticks out as unique. First, Pennsylvania's judges are elected by the people, which is relatively rare. And second, they have an entire appellate court dedicated to dealing with the Commonwealth government.